Good morning. Good morning. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. Y'all should just be standing up already. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. Come on, let's move. It feels so good. I can do most anything. I am loving every living thing. I can see the face of God on His case. We're all precious, no one got some more. We all got the same treasures in store. I am loving every little thing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. 'Cause it feels so good. I can do most anything. I live my life. Don't let them always turn How y'all feeling?
Let's keep going.
Me too. Spirit move me, Spirit groove me. Love is in my life, flowing through me. People laughing, living, laughing. Spirit move me now. When I'm feeling lost and lonely, when my heart is sinking slowly, I get moving, I get groovy.
Ricky Myers.
The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me, resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me, resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me, resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is loving me, resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me, resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me, resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. I know that all is well.
Good morning. Good morning, Andy. Good morning to all of you here at Unity Church of Overland Park, whether you are in the room with us this morning or you're in our balcony online. It is always so good to be with all of you. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak, and it's, again, just a pleasure to be back in town and to be back with all of you.
I'm Reverend Jen Hutchins, and as always, it is a blessing to be here with you.
We got some other special folks
We
up here.
do. So I'm going to speak on behalf of all of you as we, in our hearts, with gratitude, thank all the folks up here that are making today's service possible. Please join me in thanking Reverend Fred Envy, Terry Swopes, James Albright, Brad Evilsizer, and Jasmine Velasco.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, it's good to be back. I was away for the last 2 weeks, spending some time with my family in Houston. It was a wonderful time away, and it's great to be back with you, Reverend Jen, and now Reverend Jackie gets a turn at having a Sunday off. And so she's off having some fun today. She'll be back in the offices this week and with all of us on Sunday. And so we got a big service planned for you today. It's all about the Good Faith Network, the Nehemiah event coming up, the good work that we are all doing together with congregations throughout this county in terms of social justice. And so I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of that with you today. But we want to ground it all. We want to ground ourselves, as we always do, first with an opening prayer. And today's opening prayer was inspired in me as I was reading yesterday's reading through Unity's Daily Word publication. And so I just invite us all to take that intentional step inward, to make a connection with Spirit's presence that is not only alive and active in us, but also present in everything and everyone all around us. And in the Daily Word yesterday, it reminded us of a teaching from Unity minister, author Eric Butterworth, who taught that we don't achieve or receive what we deserve or even what we pray for. We achieve or receive what we expect. So on this gift of a new day, a blessed, sacred gift of Spirit, what are we expecting? As we pray this prayer, what are we expecting? As we allow that question to just simmer gently within us, if any thoughts come into our consciousness that would be of things that we do not wish to expect, we gently release them and we let them go. We release any thoughts or feelings of doubt or worry. We release any thoughts of lack or limitation, or perhaps even the cynicism that sometimes tries to tell us that all of the world's problems and challenges will never change, will never get better. In fact, they will only worsen. We release all of these things and bless them on their way. And in their place, we put our expectations. For we can expect our faith to strengthen us. We can expect our values to be reignited as they continue to guide our lives. We can expect a full and abundant life. We can expect the highest and best outcomes for the greatest number possible. We can expect to be blessed. Perhaps even better yet, we can expect to be a blessing to others. And so we remember on this new day that we are wired for positive outcomes and expectations because of the higher power that is present within everyone and everything. And so would you join with me now as we bless this prayer by speaking aloud the words to one of the most powerful statements of spiritual truth that unity has offered to this world. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the source of all good.
And in this space of knowing the truth of who we are and whose we are, we bring into our consciousness all of those who have asked this community for prayer this week, those that have come in with specific requests for prayers, for peace, for guidance. We also hold in our hearts any prayers that have been unspoken or unwritten, knowing that your expectations are what you receive. We expect the presence of the one source, one power. We expect perfect and abundant health. We expect clear divine guidance, knowing that all is unfolding in perfect divine order. We hold these truths in our hearts, knowing that in this moment, God is, I am, and all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Hi, I'm Tony.
I'm Barb.
And
Okay. And we have a few announcements for you this morning. First, a reminder that this coming Saturday, April 27th, we will be participating in the Overland Park Clean Stream event. We'll be cleaning at Pinehurst East, which is located off 103rd Street, just east of Metcalf Avenue on the north side of the road. We'll be there from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And parking is available across from the park in the former Walmart parking lot. Trash bags will be provided, but bring your own work gloves. You can register at the community table in the back of the room, where there are also waiver forms for you to sign and leave at the table. Registration is also available online. The link is in our e-news.
And the next meeting of our Folks with Faith group will also be on Saturday, April 27th, here in the cafe area. This month's presentation will be offered by Dr. Deborah L. Johnson, who will speak to spirituality and gender. She will delve into the complexities of gender theory, drawing on her extensive experience and personal journey. Registration is available online using the link provided in the e-news. An online option, as well as ASL interpretation, are also available upon request. Doors open at 10 a.m. and the meeting begins at 10:30.
And mark your calendars and plan on attending this year's Nehemiah Assembly of the Good Faith Network. It is being held in the main sanctuary of Church of the Resurrection on Tuesday evening, May 7th, beginning at 6 p.m. Reverend Eileen will be sharing more about the connection of the assembly with the biblical figure of Nehemiah in her lesson today. But the assembly itself is where Good Faith Network congregations and their invitees, along with members of the general public, gather to show that there is strength and power in numbers. UCOP has committed to being a part of bringing at least 1,500 to the assembly as advocates who are speaking as a faith community with one united voice. So much progress has been made over the last 12 months, which Reverend Eileen will also be sharing, and the network will present even more solutions to the chair of the Johnson County Board of Commissioners as we continue working together with the board in addressing the mental health crisis, homelessness, and lack of affordable housing that exists in Johnson County.
And let us join now in speaking the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Yes. Envy? You win.
Sometimes.
I win.
I did this week.
Yeah.
Can I share?
Sure.
So I just came back from Miami because my mama had breast cancer. And she had a lumpectomy on Thursday, and everything came back negative. She is cancer-free.
Mom wins.
So we won this week. Stray bullet and a mama cries. The baby won't be coming home tonight. Sirens screaming down the avenue. Just another story in the evening news. Politics and prejudice. How the hell did it ever come to this? Everybody's gotta pick a side. Doesn't matter if you're wrong or right. No, so it goes. But I hold on to hope and I won't let go. 'Cause I believe you and me are sisters and brothers, and I believe we're here to be here for each other, but we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand with the world that says walking together again. 'Cause
Just making sure she's done. I don't want to miss any note that Envy has to sing. Oh, there. Yes. That's a lesson in and of itself. Love wins. End of story, right? Okay, so many of you I know are aware that Unity Church of Overland Park is a member of the Good Faith Network. And this is an interfaith justice organization that builds a collective voice to solve the community's most pressing problems. We became a member of the Good Faith Network in 2022, and as a member, we hold 2 positions on the board of directors, and Angela Herman and myself currently fill that role. And I also currently serve as an at-large member of the executive board of the Good Faith Network. And currently, the network consists of 29 faith communities throughout Johnson County, representing faith traditions of Islam and Judaism, New Thought, and Christianity. And every year at this time, the network asks the clergy of its member congregations to offer a lesson, to give a sermon that speaks, number 1, to why we advocate for justice in Johnson County. Secondly, it speaks to how it is that we put that advocacy to work with our county's elected leaders. And thirdly, that speaks to, more specifically, the upcoming annual event that is called the Nehemiah Assembly. That's where we all join together and we make very specific requests of our elected leaders and ask for their commitment in addressing them going forward. And so that's what my lesson is all about today. And the best roadmap I can give to you is the title of the lesson, Values, Justice, and Power, which are the Nehemiah legacy. The advocacy for anything comes forth when we see something that does not align with our values, whether they be our personal values or the values of an organization to which we belong or with which we associate in some way. Justice is often something that is missing or being applied inequitably when a disalignment of our values is present. And power is typically both at the root of the problem we see, as well as a necessary ingredient in order to effect the change we want to see. So let's begin with some values. We all have them, right? We all have them. Sometimes we might need a moment or two to let them come into our minds, and other times they are front and center in our minds. Last October, I took a week off and I went on just a personal retreat. And during that time, a new set of core values presented itself to me. And so right now, for me, the 5 values that resonate most deeply with me are authenticity, worthiness, faith, love, and forgiveness. Unity Church of Overland Park has a set of 5 core values. They are love and abundance, joy, spirit-led, and inclusiveness. So take a moment and just allow to come into your minds your personal values. Allow them to just gently stay in your consciousness as we move through our time here together today. And as you think about them, think about how you feel when someone or something is in your midst that does not align with them. Now, I was thinking about all of this as it applies to the Good Faith Network. And while they do not have a specific list of values listed that I could find on the website, I did see something there from which I could easily glean a set of values. So again, these are not officially stated values of the network, but they could be entertained as being such if such a statement or a posting would want to be made. And I saw them on a page of the website that's titled, Our Name, Our Story. See, the Good Faith Network has only been in effect for 3 short years. It began back in 2021, and it started under a temporary name. It was just a placeholder because they knew that they wanted to receive input from member congregations at that time as to what the official name would be. And so they approached the process knowing that whatever name they would ultimately choose for themselves, it would not be enough to tell everything about who they are and all about who they wanted to become. They knew that the name of the organization could only be the title to the story. So they started with the story. a part of which I'd like to share with you from their website. Our story is that we engage in this work as an expression of our diverse faith traditions. For each of us, it is our faith that compels us to seek the common good together, to work for justice, to speak the truth about what is happening in our community, and to call for honesty and fairness in how the vulnerable are treated. That will be the story of this interfaith organization for years to come. Now, a few words or values that jump out at me from that statement are those of diversity and faith and justice. And then when it speaks to seeking the common good together, another word, another value, that of power, comes to mind. And then there was the phrase fairness in how the vulnerable are treated. And in those words, I hear values of equity and compassion being expressed. So if we use these examples of values within the story of what Good Faith Network is, where is the disalignment? Where is the disalignment that underlies all of the work that we have been doing together with them and our sister congregations throughout this county, work that is centered on ending homelessness in Johnson County, centered on creating affordable housing in the county, and establishing a mental health crisis stabilization center here in Johnson County? Where is the disalignment? Well, consider for a moment that in this wealthiest, most affluent county in the state of Kansas, more than 1,000 children are either homeless or couch surfing. Consider that home sale prices in the county rose 50%, that's 50%, between 2017 and 2022, which has resulted in 45% of the county's workforce having to leave the county to find another place that they can afford to live instead of being able to live in the county that they've chosen to serve. And consider that 8,000 residents of Johnson County need access to mental health stabilization, many of whom currently are sitting in the emergency rooms for up to 80 hours, that is 3.5 days, waiting to be moved, waiting to be transferred to an appropriate facility, and they're waiting because there's not an opening there either, and it's in Wyandotte County. Now, those are just three statistics, one from each of the initiatives, but they make the point that allowing them and many others like them to continue unaddressed would be out of alignment with our values. And they certainly don't seem to be very just at all. And that's the second pillar of the lesson, justice. And there is a guiding verse in Scripture that helps us to understand what justice means as it applies to the problems that we're facing in our community. And it's from the Old Testament book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. And it says, "And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God?" That's it. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? So there's three requirements, if you will, that can be interpreted as justice, mercy, or kindness, and faith, the deepening of your relationship with your God by whatever name you want to choose to call that one presence and power that we affirm is within everyone and everything. So when it comes to faith, I think we're meeting that requirement just fine. We gather here every single Sunday for our celebration services. We offer multiple non-Sunday services throughout the year. We have had a prayer team in this community for nearly 50 years now. We offer classes and small group discussions, all of these and more, which are offered as a means for you to nurture and strengthen your faith and your relationship with Spirit. As for mercy, first it's important to distinguish it from justice, because mercy, acts of kindness, mercy meets an immediate need in someone's life. And we offer this as we volunteer to serve meals to the homeless, when we pack backpacks for children whose families might not be able to afford to do so on their own, when we have food drives for the local food pantries, when we volunteer hours at the cold weather shelter just down the street from us here, when we give of our financial abundance to the organizations that can reach out and provide services to those who are most vulnerable, those who are most in need, we do mercy well. Justice, unlike mercy, addresses systems. It addresses the questions that underlie all of the needs in individuals' lives. Why is there homelessness in Johnson County? Why is there such a lack of affordable housing in the county? Why isn't there a mental health crisis intake facility right here, readily available in our area? Justice is the pillar that we're not doing as well with as we would like. And it is not for our lack of desire or trying. It is because not one congregation, not ours, not any of the other 28 faith communities of the Faith Network, Good Faith Network, can do it alone. See, if I stopped my lesson right here, right now, and I asked our ushers to come forward and to bring the offering bags with them, if I asked all of our folks in the balcony, get out your smartphones right now, I believe that as one congregation, we could easily raise $2,000 in less than 10 minutes. I firmly believe we could do that. And we could give that money to a homeless family. And they can spend this next upcoming week in a nice hotel and eat healthy meals throughout the next 7 days. And it would be a wonderful act of kindness, a wonderful act of mercy, and it would not end homelessness. So what do? Well, we stay committed to doing justice. We have two other friends in Scripture that are here to guide us in doing that. One comes from the New Testament, one from the Old. One is named Jesus. The other is the legacy we are trying to build upon and carry forward today, and that's of the prophet Nehemiah. So Jesus first. When we turn to Scripture, we go to the Gospels where we find so many stories about Jesus, and if we really read them, really take them in just the literal words, it is so clear to see that they were written from the perspective of the marginalized. A couple of months ago, I was at a clergy retreat attended by clergy of the Good Faith Network, along with clergy of 3 similar interfaith justice organizations that are located in Wyandotte County and down the road a little ways in Lawrence and then in Wichita. And at one point, I was speaking with one of the pastors who is from Wyandotte County, and he told me about his commitment that he had made for the rest of this 2024. And his commitment is this: to preach from the margins, just like Jesus did. Preach from the margins. See, this is so true. We often refer to Jesus as being the example, right, for our lives. Well, who did he hang out with? He hung out with tax collectors, who were some of the most hated people of his day. He hung out with women, and some of those women were prostitutes. He hung out with those who were poor and homeless and hungry, and he spent a whole lot of time with those who were sick or moving through various forms of disability. He hung out with and he affirmed the value in those who were outcasts, both outcasts living on the margins of culture and society. And he rebuked those who turned away from them and turned instead towards money and greed and power. And then somewhere along the line since those days, we've forgotten the story and we've forgotten the legacy of Nehemiah. It is the reason for our upcoming Nehemiah assembly. It is the blueprint behind our third pillar, which is that of power. In the particular story that is the inspiration for all that we do with the Good Faith Network, the timeline is the mid-5th century of BCE, and Nehemiah is in Jerusalem, and he's leading an effort to rebuild the torn-down walls of the city. And while that construction is taking place, he starts to hear an outcry from the community. See, a drought had settled into the land, and the people had been forced to mortgage their homes, their farms, their vineyards, just to buy food. And then they had to borrow money in order to pay the taxes due on their properties. And when they couldn't pay it back, The moneylenders just took it all, and they forced some of them to sell their children into slavery. And so at that point, Nehemiah is said to have felt a righteous anger. And that righteous anger told him that he had to do something. He had to act in some way to end these injustices. So in other words, he had to effect a change in the systems. And he did. But not on his own, because he knew he didn't have that kind of power all on his own. But he also knew that there was power in numbers. So he organized, quote unquote, a great assembly of people. And they called those money lenders to stand in front of them, and they began to hold them accountable for their actions. And the more they pressed forward, the more they pressed the issues at hand during that gathering, the money lenders agreed to restore everything they had taken. And they kept their word. Now, this has got to sound familiar to any of you who have been engaged in any way with the Good Faith Network over the last 12 months. Because what have we been doing together? We've been holding listening sessions. We have listened to each other. All congregations have been listening to each other, their members, about the issues that bother us, the issues that cause us anxiety, the issues we're not happy with, that keep us up at night. We have joined committees to work on the 3 outcries, researching solutions to the problems such that they will have a system-wide impact and improve the lives of thousands once implemented. And on the evening of May 7th, we will gather in the main sanctuary of the Church of the Resurrection for a great assembly, 1,500 people or more strong, during which the Good Faith Network will bring specific proposals to the appropriate decision makers and ask for their commitment to help put those proposals and solutions into action, after which we will monitor the process to assure a positive impact. This is incredibly powerful work. And it is important to me that I say a few things about this idea of power. And it's important because of what I said about it earlier, that it is often at the root of the problems we see and also necessary to effect change to what we want to see. Power can be abused in order to keep things as they are, keep the status quo just as it is. Abused by people like Jesus rebuked for turning away from the marginalized, for overtaxing people for personal gain, and for living with an attitude and a belief in power over people. That is not the power of our presence, our voice, or our actions within the framework of the Good Faith Network. We come from an attitude and a belief in power with others, and that includes our elected officials. The Good Faith Network attends monthly meetings of the Johnson County Board of Commissioners. We make public comments during some of those meetings. Sometimes we speak out in favor of something they are discussing, whether it's our issues or just other issues that they work on, and sometimes we speak in opposition to things on their agenda. We meet regularly with the chair of the County Board of Commissioners. There are also meetings and phone calls and emails being exchanged with other members of the board as well. And when they are invited to our Nehemiah Assembly, they are provided with the script well in advance that outlines word for word everything that's going to be presented, everything that's going to be said, everything that is going to be asked of them. They know ahead of time. There are no gotchas in this work at all. We come together and we do our best to work together. And yes, sometimes there is tension, but it is healthy tension. And by that I mean that the tension that is present in the time and in the space where decisions for change can be made. And that is a space, and those are times that can be negotiated and navigated with the utmost respect for everyone involved. If we do not allow for that kind of tension, nothing will ever change. And I know that sometimes it feels that way. That no matter what we do, nothing is ever going to change. Or sometimes those feelings take the form of hopelessness or a sense of overwhelm because what we're working on is not small. Last month, I was watching a concert on PBS from Barbara Streisand. And it was a concert that she offered in Brooklyn, New York back in 2013. And she said something during some comments she was sharing about doing all that we possibly can to protect this beloved planet of ours and contribute to its ongoing sustainability. So the words were very literal to her intention of that night. But it struck me that the words could also be metaphorically applied to this work of social justice that we do. Because she said this, "We plant seeds now for trees whose shade we will never see." We plant seeds now for trees whose shade we will never see. I heard those words and I was re-inspired about my humble walk with my God, to remember that my advocacy is not about me. It's about others who are often voiceless, invisible. And I am also a very firm believer in celebrating accomplishments of all sizes along the way to whatever an appointed goal might be. So we have 2 weeks before the Nehemiah Assembly. So I would like to suggest, ask, encourage, whatever word feels good to you, that you take time over these next 2 weeks to sit back, maybe kick your feet up, take in and celebrate some fabulous accomplishments that we have experienced just since the last Nehemiah event a year ago. In the initiative of creating affordable housing, at the Good Faith Network's urging suggestion, the county hired a new position, a housing coordinator, and she's been working on this issue for several months, and it is very complex and complicated at times. Relative to the Mental Health Crisis Stabilization Center, some of you may know, if not, I am thrilled to tell you that a center with 12 available beds is on track, on time, to open in Johnson County this summer. This summer. For ending homelessness. In December of last year, the commissioners approved a contract to enter into the purchase of a La Quinta Inn right here in Lenexa and convert it into a year-round shelter. It's also going to include a resource center within it that will house various other service agencies that will offer their help that all contribute to ending homelessness. More recently, the county hired a homelessness coordinator, and they also were advised of available money. They went for the money as a grant. They received that grant, and now they're in the process of hiring 5 additional staff positions to the homelessness coordinator role. And if you weren't already aware, in his annual State of the County address just a couple weeks back on April 9th, Commission Chair Mike Kelly affirmed out loud that Johnson County, Kansas, can be the first community in Kansas to achieve what's called functional zero homelessness, and we can do that by 2029. Other cities and counties in the country have achieved it, and what it means is that if there is homelessness, it is measurably rare, and it is not long in existence. So it was bold of him to say that. It was bold he had the support of the other county, most of the other county commissioners to do it. Without it, he can't do it himself. He's only one voice on that board. And so it is an amazing commitment that he had made. And when I watched the replay of the event, the place erupted in applause to hear him make that kind of a commitment. Because you see, these 3 issues that we've been working on through the network, they've been talked about in Johnson County at the elected levels for a long time. Some date back 9 years to 2015. We've been talking about it. And I firmly believe that if the Good Faith Network had not formed and done all that it has done in just 3 short years, we'd still be sitting around talking about them. So yes, please take the next 2 weeks, kick back a bit and celebrate, because you've been a part of that. And then on May 7th, please get back up. Join me in attending the Nehemiah Assembly. Our commitment as Unity Church of Overland Park, as a member of the Good Faith Network, is to bring at least 68 people to the event. That's not a big commitment, but it's one I'd like to keep, and I'd like you to make it your commitment to be there. Be there so you can be an expression of your values. Be there so you can be an advocate for justice, united as one voice. And be there and allow the power of your presence to be that which continues to bring forth all the good that can happen when people of good faith come together as one. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Eileen. Let's just take a few minutes, a few deep breaths, and listen to Envy as we move into a time of meditation.
The presence of the one, in the presence of the truth, all is here, all is whole, all is well, all is well. The presence of the one, in the presence of the truth, all is here, all is whole, all is well, all is well.
Foundation of spirituality, spiritual practices, supports us in cultivating the presence of hope. Unity's co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote that hope is an expectation of good in the future. And research has shown that hope is not an emotion. It is a way of thinking. And therefore, it is a conscious choice that we can make. The more we choose hope, the more tolerance we have for disappointments, the more determined we become. And the more our lives are expressions of our values and our beliefs. One of the most important beliefs we can hold is that we can indeed effect change when we live and when we love with our whole hearts. Because love, divine, sacred love, coupled with action, is more than powerful enough to bring lasting change to the issues of social injustice. And it's this same love that helps us to not become numb to difficult circumstances. It helps us to lean into the discomfort of our emotions. Love helps us to understand that we cannot go back and make pretty all that has been so ugly. And it helps us to realize that what we can do is move forward and add beauty to the whole of this life. As we take a moment or so now to step into the silence, we allow to come forth anything that might try to tell us that all of this is just wishful thinking, that we are powerless, that all is hopeless and will never change. So whatever, if any resistance arises, together we affirm its gentle release. As we gently come back to this time and space, coming back from our time of reflection, we step away from the messy details that can never be changed. We see that there remains an expansiveness of life yet to be created, a creation we commit to doing our part to fill with beauty of all kinds. Because today we can create anew. We create upon a foundation of spirit, and we do it together with so many fellow sojourners on this path of justice. And we also do it with hope. We do it in good faith, and we do it with a whole lot of love.
Of the one, in the presence of the truth, all is here, all is whole, all is well, all is well.
Now is the time in our service where we get to give from our hearts, where we get to collectively experience the power of hope and love, and to contribute to that hope and love for this community and all that it does to bless each one of you here, each one of you in the balcony, and the many ways that this community blesses the community outside of these walls as well. So in hope, in love, in faith, I invite you to hold your love offerings in your hands, in your hearts, your phones at your fingertips, as you join me in sharing our affirmation. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful. So it is.
Oh, my goodness. Envy, Reverend Fred, this UCOP band, you work together so very well. Thank you. And another group of people that work very well together. They're part of the cohesiveness of everything we do in these celebration services. That is our platform assistance team. You hear them, they keep you up to date every single week. So if you are in the room and you are on this team, I know you're here, Tiffany, Barb, Tony, Ellis, just stand up so we can all say thank you for all that you do. A quick reminder, I'm going to keep saying this until May 8th. Please join me at the Nehemiah Assembly. I'm going to try to have tickets available to hand out to you either next Sunday or the Sunday after. If you weren't able to be at the solutions briefing that was kind of a preface to the Nehemiah, there are a few folders left on the back table here in the room that has the program for the Nehemiah event. There is a block of tickets. Take them, give them out to people. If you don't get a ticket, you can still go. They have them at the door. It's not a cost of anything. It's just a way they track how many people are coming from each congregation. So that's available at the table. And also a reminder that our men's group is going to have their next meeting on Saturday, May the 4th. So check out the e-news for more information about that. So if you would join with me now in speaking together the mission statement of this fabulous community of ours. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And one big difference maker is going to be right back here next week. Reverend Jackie will be here, and she's going to offer a lesson that is titled, When the Heart Waits, True Self. And so please join us for that. I don't believe we had any kids with us today, so why don't we all just join and put together for our closing song.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I love love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy.
If you would join me now in speaking our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Have a wonderful week, everybody.